Okay, let's take a look at part C. Okay, so here's what part C looks like. We have figure 1, figure 2, figure 3, and then we need to come up with number sentences for these things and use that number sentence to extrapolate to look at, figure 4, figure 10, figure 100, and then in general just figure n. And again, this was asked about in the discussion board, and I thought that, again, Vanessa had a good answer there. So Alondra asked about 53 part C, and Vanessa's saying, for this one I grouped the two side lines and then added how many squares were left in the middle. And then surprisingly, my leftover squares were compatible with the figure number. Okay, so let's look. So let's use Vanessa's number pattern there. Okay, so she said she grouped the two side lines. So I think she means these ones, right? And then she just added the one in the middle. So maybe I'll do that in blue. Okay. Not that you can see the colors very well. It's kind of a gray day. It's very smoky today. But anyway, and then she did the same kind of thing I think for figure 2, like that, and for figure 3, like that. Okay. So if we write out number sentences for this, what would we get? Well, if we're grouping these side ones together, then what I see is two groups of 3, right? I see a group of 3 and another group of 3. So I see it as two groups of 3. And so I'm going to write that like 2 times 3. And then for the blue part, I'm just going to say plus 1 until I know better, I guess. For figure 2, I'm going to say again I have a group of 4 and then another group of 4, so that makes two groups of 4. So I'm going to call it 2 times 4. And then I've got plus 2. Okay. And then for figure 3, it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like I've got two groups of 5. So two groups of 5. And then I've got 3 left in the middle, so plus 3. So that seems to work out pretty nicely, right? We can guess what figure 4 is going to be. It's going to be 2 times something plus something else. Well, if we look at those parts, it's going 3, 4, 5, 6, and the blue part's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's not too much of a challenge, right? Getting to figure 4. But now to make the big jump to figure 10 is a little bit more challenging. In order to make that leap, like I've been saying, we have to be able to relate these numbers back to the figure number somehow. So so if I look at these ones, it's 3, 4, 5. This is the same pattern as it was in part B, wasn't it? So we had like a 3, 4, 5, and what we discovered is that, well, that's just the figure number plus 2, right? 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 2 is 5, okay, 4 plus 2 is 6. So I think what we're going to have for figure 10 is 2 times 12, right? Because 10 plus 2 is 12. And then for the blue part, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. That just matches the figure number, right? So here it's just going to be 10. Okay, so, and I haven't been doing this, but it's kind of interesting to note that, like, this is really nice because now, without even having to draw out figure 10, you know how many tiles are going to be in figure 10. It's going to be 2 times 12 is 24, plus 10 is 34. You should have 34 tiles in figure 10, which is kind of nice. Okay, for figure 100. It's going to be 2 times figure number plus 2. So 100 plus 2 is 102. Plus figure number. So that's 100. And then for figure n, it's going to be 2 times figure number plus 2 plus figure number. And that's all there is to it, right? So we're going to have 2n plus 4 plus n. So that's 3n plus 4. Okay. So that's all I'm going to say about part C. Well, that's all I'm going to work out for part C. But I do want to point out, that of course there are other ways to do it. And one way that you could do it is you could use the fact that, well, you just finished part B, and part B is just like part C, only it's missing the tops, right? So it's like you're just missing these things. And if you think about, well, how much are you missing? Well, you're missing a figure number, right? You're missing 1 here, you're missing 2 here, you're missing 3 there. So you're always missing, the figure number. So if you can go back to the work that you did in part B, you could say, well, figure 1 is just whatever I wrote down for part B minus 1. And figure 2 is whatever I wrote down for part B minus 2. And figure 3 is whatever I wrote down for part B minus 3. So figure 4 would be whatever I wrote down for figure 4 minus 4. And in general, for figure N, it would be, do I have it still? Yeah, for figure N, it would be whatever I wrote down for the figure number on figure N for part B, which is 4n minus 4, minus the figure number, which is n. Well, 4n plus 4 minus n is 3n plus 4. Okay, so that's another way that you could have thought about part C. There may have been other ways to do it as well. Like you could see it as, this U shape that's missing 2 here, this U shape that's missing 2 times 3. So here it's missing, how would we say it? Well, 2 times 3, here it's missing 3 times 4. So here it would be missing 4 times 5. And then in figure 10 it would be missing 10 times 11. And you could try to get it, that way as well. But anyway, so that's all I have to say about part C.